Ooh, spooky. Look at all the smoke from the seance. Ooh, let's look into our crystal ball. I'm from the future, and this is going to be a great episode. 1 second. I don't know if I'm allowed to partake in my rituals on camera. All right. Who's the father of the baby? What the fuck is this? This is my podcast. I try to write a bunch of jokes every week, and uh, you know, a comedian. I'm in the joke business, right? So, each one of these dumb little jokes, like a lottery ticket, you put it online, it gets 1 billion views, or you lose 1,000 subscribers every time you post to YouTube. It's not important, the numbers are relative, man. Um so yeah, that's what we're doing. We're telling the jokes that I wrote this week, and it is gonna be messy. We are live streaming again. I accidentally paid for another month of this live stream subscription, so I thought I might as well do it. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Buy a membership, $5 a month. There's all sorts of videos that are not released yet, and some may never be released. So, if you want to get behind the scenes, there's more stuff than you'll ever know what to do with. Help me out, $5 a month. I gotta buy these dumb props and these dumb. This is all stuff I had. All right, we're doing it. Hello, besties. If you've come upon this podcast, don't scroll past it. This is an important message to you from the universe. Remember to take what resonates and discard the rest. The spirits are telling me a bunch of vague things, and if you're coming in with a preconceived notion, I may cause you to do a bunch of dumb shit. I had this tarot joke go viral on Facebook a little bit. I'm not sure what the criteria is for virality. Like 100 shares? Well, that's just chlamydia. Like, this is herpes, this is AIDS. There's levels to this shit, So last week, as the valued listeners of the podcast will remember, I told a joke about pay attention to your girlfriend, or else she's going to let tarot cards make decisions for her. And I thought, if I put this on Facebook, it's going to be real obvious to the lady that it's about. And as if my 17 flame emojis on every Instagram selfie didn't drive home the point. But look, it's not about hiding your interest, right? I hope the group chats are buzzing. I'm trying to make it interesting. But asking a girl out now feels like trying to feed a deer an apple. You see one in nature, you're like, hey, you're really pretty. I'll whisper, sorry. 90% of them, as soon as they make eye contact, they just scamper off. You're like, no, I wasn't going to eat you. But you got to walk up slowly, palms up, no sudden moves. Hey, I just want to feed you. I don't even like guns. I'm wearing this orange vest. I just appreciate God's beauty. And then you buy the deer a few apple martinis and hope for the rest. So, I wrote that dumb joke, and I thought, like, if it's about my friend and then she found it, I might as well put it on Facebook and get my 400 likes and and move on. But the tarot cards joke is at like 10,000 shares on Facebook. I mean, it's no heckler video, but it seems to have struck a chord. If Steve Hofstetter just accidentally let his dog type a tweet and hit send, he would get the same numbers. But it's good for me. That's why they say comparison is the thief of joy, right? people go fart noises, and then it, has a million views, and I'm like trying my best, and people were like, unfollow. But I tried the tarot joke on stage and it worked, which is a bummer because now I have to think about this lady every night. But the joke is on her because I already was. Pew, pew, pew. I mean, come on. Not every night, but that's how you write the joke in the first place. The good news is this reinforces the idea that just watching hot girls' Instagram story, hoping for a selfie or a bikini photo is actually healthy behavior, because sometimes you see a rose quartz or astrology thing and you write a joke and it gets 10,000 shares. I can justify anything with the best of them. Call in with what you need me to maybe that's a better show. I'm not trying to tell jokes. You just call in and tell me what you need me to justify, and I'll come up with an excuse. The other problem is now I have to try to learn more about tarot cards. I want to expand the joke. You hit a gold mine, you don't stop drilling just because you got one barrel of juice, trying to learn. I'm like, where else can this tarot joke go? But I don't want to actually know anything about tarot. Does that make sense? Like, I'm trying to learn without actually learning anything. I want the gist of it, like a book report in high school or a presidential debate. If I can just get enough buzzwords into a 2-minute sentence without actually knowing anything, then that's the best case scenario. Presidential debate, that's pretty, like, this is like when you watch politicians, they just are like, they're not actually saying anything. They're not like, they're just like, well, yes, because jobs are crazy now, and some people can't even afford healthcare, and that's great. And then people go, yeah, and then they're like, he made his point. You just got to maneuver into a pre-written book report. Who's going to win the presidential election? Ooh. It's going to be Trump and Biden again, isn't it? The guy who's in jail, or the guy whose son should be in jail, right? What every president's going to get they keep doing the whole, oh yeah, well, we're going to arrest Bill Clinton in Coeur d'Alene, and it's like, cool. I don't think anyone would really be that upset with it. Arrest all of them. The only history with tarot cards is one time I hired a palm reader to come over to a lady's house because I knew she was into that dumb shit. And then the lady told us we were a bad match. And then the girl dumped me. And I was like, what the fuck? I should have just paid my buddy $50 to wear a wig and say some bullshit that would get me laid. He already owns a trailer and wears lipstick and votes for Republican. I would have saved $200. All that money. And at the end of the night, someone's trying to tell me to stop. I forgot to mute my phone. That's all right. End of the night, I'm reading my own palm. Get it? That's a bad joke. It'll probably work on stage. I was reading my own palm at the end of the night. Let me check with the spirits. Yep, that's gonna work. I also filmed a YouTube video with a psychic medium. This is all public, baby. You can go back 12 years ago. I don't know. This has got to be 8 years old, 7 years old by now. I was doing a web series called Don't Quit Your Night Job. And I was attempting other people's professions. I had one with Seahawk legend John Ryan, the punter. I had a musician. I tried being homeless and like selling CDs on a street corner, and that just got my buddy's wife to call his friend and be like, "Is Andrew okay? Is stuff not going well?" No, it's not going well. Pay $5 for a YouTube membership. So I filmed the thing. I got a psychic medium and I did some stand up, and then he went on stage. I'm not answering my phone. I gotta turn this thing down, right? Can't have these beeps. Can't have these beeps go. Although it does help my popularity to be like, wow, Andrew's getting so many texts. People are so worried about him. So I had this psychic medium on stage, and the people had no idea that he was about to go on stage. So he bombed. Like he kept being like, "I'm getting an F. Uh, I'm getting a U, a C, a K, a me. Oh, this is going bad." He just kept saying stuff, and nobody wanted to offer anything because they're like, "We didn't really sign up for this." And then like I went up in like this whole costume. I threw the rest of it away. If only my psychic readings would have told me that I'd write a dumb joke about it 8 years later. I would have actually kept it. So I had the full regalia on, a scarf, and then I just went up to, like, I told a girl to like write her phone number down, and I would try to guess it, and then oh, I guess I got it wrong anyway. And I was like, I can hear Tupac. He's telling you to stop saying the N-word, just a bunch of dumb bits and some improv in there. It was very funny. But then after the show, people kept talking to the medium guy and being like, "You were actually talking to my cousin Greg, and my dad told me not to say it. We just weren't sure if we should. We wanted to know more. Can we get a car?" Like he was killing it. These guys, they say these vague things, and um you know, people just want to believe, I guess. Right? Hi, from Tucson. Man, what up? I should look at some comments once in a while. My two smoking hot lesbian neighbors bought me a Rolex for birthday. Oh, you're funny. They must have misunderstood when I said I want to watch. That is a good joke. All right. This guy just coming in telling better jokes than I am. That's not, I mean, street jokes, but some of us write our own jokes. um, anyway, the psychic guy, I kept the rocks. I don't know. I think that guy's off his rocker a little bit, but I hope he's happy. That's what I say. It's probably insane to think you communicate with dead people, but if you want to communicate with the dead, my comedy career email is andrewrivers@gmail.com. One thing I noticed while studying a lot of comments, like a lot of the comments mention tarot from the viral posts, and I guess tarot is huge on TikTok. And so I went on, I braved in, I put my hazmat suit on, I went into TikTok to study the tarot for the joke, for research purposes, and they all start with like, "Stop scrolling," which feels like cheating. I'd like to put that at the beginning of my stand-up videos. "If your name is Kelsey, stop scrolling for an urgent message," and then just play my comedy. And the whole time she's like, I think this is about me. It would fool the algorithm because she'd be listening intently. How can the spirits be pre-recorded? That's what I don't understand. If I record myself in front of a camera and I've got this orb and the cards, and I say, "This is an urgent message for Keith," and then I call the spirits, and then I go, "He does love you back." And then 6 years later, you scroll past that video on TikTok and you're like, "Oh, was the spirit holding the message for 6 years? Or was that?" It never tells you anything you need to know. Why couldn't the spirit just come to me directly? Is what I don't understand. Why did it have to go through this guy who got on TikTok and then gives me the message? Why it never tells the girlfriend anything we need to know, like where we should go eat. Here's a tarot reading for you. If your name is Brittany, stop scrolling and look up. You're about to hit the car in front of you. Ah! She was a fire sign and now she's on fire. Think about the person in your life. That's what they say. Think about the person for you. Think about the person in your and it's like I have 45 different girls I follow on Instagram from dating apps. Like I'm hoping any one of them calls me. I tried to do the reading earnestly and it was like think about the special someone and I was like, "All right." And then it was like doing a reading and I was like, "Well, that doesn't sound like us. It must be about this other person." Like you just want to believe it. It's like Trump. You're like, no, really, he's going to arrest the pedophiles. I keep getting the date wrong. It's going to be his third term. Uh, I have this crystal ball, it's part of one of my trinkets. And let's see if I can find a secret message. Oh, it says he'll never make it. It said quit. Quit comedy. The other interesting revelation is meme pages. So the joke got on Facebook, it's just words. So the joke got stolen a bunch, which is what happens. Nobody owns words. So they just copy and paste. And then they're in their mind, no harm, no foul. And comedians get uptight about it. I kind of decided I wasn't going to let that bum me out. Like people steal, it's just what they do. It's easier than stealing copper and way less profitable. I sort of had a Napster approach where I'm like, steal it. It's just making me more popular because, it's not like they're stealing actual money. The hope is that they find my comedy page and like it. They go, oh, this is the source of more jokes. Let me follow this guy and buy a ticket to his show. But really, like, if what was the mean witch or what, some lady shared it to her witch page and it got 200 likes and you're like, cool. Mine's got 5,000. Like, really, you're not on my level. Steal it. Steal it. If you the what you really want is like a big one of these meme pages like Shithead Steve or the Fat Jew. They have like 7 million Instagram fans. And they take user submitted content, but I don't fully understand what the application process was like. I don't think I followed directions very well. And then I tried again and I couldn't get it to work. And I was like, wow, I got worse at following directions. So I tried to give it a try sober someday. And it's been 12 weeks. So I don't know if that's going to happen. Can you buy the hat? Uncle Ricky's Laugh Factory. Are you a comedy club? I will perform there for $2,000. And then you can have the hat for free. Meme pages. Honestly, if you are a meme page and if you name your thing Shithead Steve, you're going to get clientele like this. You can't make this process so complicated to submit. But it's funny how comedy changes over the years, It's like in the 90s, you're like, I hope I get on the Tonight Show. In the 2000s, you're like, I need a Netflix special. And now you're like, let me get on the pee pee poo poo page. If they just share my dumb joke with their 7 million Instagram fans, I'll be famous then. I used to have access to a Facebook page called the Hung Like a Half-Eaten Tic Tac, and they had 200,000 fans. And then one of my BLM jokes didn't land. They did not like it, so they banned me from posting. And then what I thought was funny is that the lady who owns the page, she made like a big apology. She was like trying to, oh, someone with old access to the account came back and we forgot. And I'm like, I've been posting my jokes for like you know, it's fine. We here at Hung Like a Half-Eaten Tic Tac Enterprises take dick jokes very seriously. We would never do something to offend you. We couldn't just delete it. It's like, fine. I didn't need the 42 likes. Um, Speaking of signs from the universe, I went to the weed store, man. And I didn't take time to appreciate the Stoner Simpsons artwork on the wall, but the man in front of me did. And then I was like, whoa, dude, which is like the international stoner phrase of friendship. And then he goes, I have a weird question. He goes, how long is your hair? It was all up in a bun. And so I pulled it down and he ran his fingers through it. And I go, oh, it's about 3 years now. And he said, man, I'm not religious, but I used to have long hair. And I read that when someone close to you passes away, you should cut your hair off to honor them. And so when my dog died, I'd cut my hair off and I miss it. And I was like 8 months ago. He was like very sad. And I was like, you don't have to listen to it. People nowadays have too much information. They pick religion a la carte. I'm not religious, but I read a thing and it said like you should use shampoo, and I was like, whoa, dude, that's totally rad. It's like you can't pick parts of the religion. You can't be like, I'm Jewish, but I still eat bacon and listen to Kanye. I'm Catholic, but I don't like kids. You can't. You just got to own the whole religion, right? Here's the potheads and tarot head. Potheads and tarot card girls are not a good match because we both need to be told what to do. Neither one of us is going to make the first move. Should I kiss him? No, I'm going to ask my TikTok about it later. We're both on a spiritual journey, and sometimes it brings you closer and sometimes it brings you further, man. Potheads and tarot girls, not a good match. We both need to be told what to do. Your color of the day is pink, and this is how you wear deodorant. We both need simple instructions to get through basic life. A la carte. Boy, how did I miss that one? Praise a la carte. Boy, I have some funny people in here. Waterboarding at Guantanamo Bay. Yeah. I'm just gonna rate everyone's jokes here. This weekend I was in Bellingham at the Blue Room. Bellingham, Washington, at the Blue Room. Speaking of being inside of my testicles, sold out. Very crowded. Could have used a release. They jacked up the rental rate on me. What I do is I rent these clubs and then I sell my own tickets and then I just run advertising and sometimes people show up. But you cut out the middleman, you take all the money or you lose all the money too. And dang it, a whole fizzy drink and then I get anyway, so they jacked up the rental rate from like $400 to $600 and but they also did a thing where they go, if I hit 100 tickets then they get a bonus, which is sort of the opposite of ideal. Most venues are like, hey, if you can just fill the bar, we'll let you slide on the rental fee. We just want to slang those drinks and make some money. This venue is like, if you make us work, we're going to charge you extra. But they got you by the balls. What are you going to do? Go to a different venue? Well, there's only so many people that actually reply to me. The week before my show, my friend Corey Michaelis, he goes, I found frozen, still working. Okay. Sometimes the thing freaks out. Gotta make sure we're good. Indoor plumbing. Mario movie? I don't know what you're keep trying. They jacked up the rental rates, right? So a bonus. If I hit 100 tickets, they get a bonus. And the week before my show, my buddy goes, dude, I found this venue. They'll give you 100% of the door. And I was like debating, like, well, $600 if it's it's a good venue, but if I go to this shady Chinese restaurant, it's a tough call. And then the day after, he sent me a text like, hey, can I get the email for the Blue Room? It's a long story. So it turns out if you want quality venues, you have to pay for them. So sometimes it's a fair price for a job well done. And the Blue Room is professional and classy, and I'll be back there. The venue asked me if I would let 2 local comedians who won a college comedy competition on the show. And I didn't really want to. It has the potential to go poorly. Right? These people paid for like a $20 show, and they're getting a $200 show, if you ask me. But, one day at a time. But if some 19-year-old comes on and starts telling eating the pussy jokes, that's going to be tough for my eating the pussy closer. Okay? Who knows what kind of jokes he's going to tell? He's inexperienced. It could go well, but sometimes his crowds get rowdy. Sometimes they're heckling and he has a panic attack and then I ruin it for him. So, but I thought, maybe they'll help me sell some tickets and I'll exploit them for money. And so I gave them each a discount code for $5 off so that they could get their friends in for cheap. And they sold 0 tickets. Turns out you don't get into stand-up comedy by having lots of friends. I thought maybe the fact that I was a loser and all of my friends were losers, that maybe these kids could break the mold. But I did ask him about it, and he was like, my friends were like $30 for a ticket. And I was like, well, that's the VIP. They could have gotten the early bird for 12 minus 5, but you didn't send them that, and your friends are too dumb to know how to buy tickets. Like, what, Also, like, yeah, $30. Like, you're lucky I don't charge you more. I'm very talented. Can't you see? Even my rough draft jokes are worth at least $5. But at least I can say I'm a nice guy. How about that? They were fine. They did a good job, and they can't sink me. I gave some kids their Make-A-Wish. I just feel bad because they're going to be, telling their friends, like, I did a real show. Mom, Dad, I opened for Anna Rivers. My career is about to take off. And they're like, who? Who's Anna Rivers? They'll be like, oh, Luke Severide was there also. As long as you're having fun, honey. And also, I'm doing this venue a favor. They agreed. They agreed to let the comedians do a set on their show, and then they were like, "Oh fuck, we don't actually have the power, so we're gonna ask this comedian who we and then you and then you don't even give me a small break on where I come from. At the end of the night, you go, hey, thanks for giving those kids a good time and then making their dreams come true. And you hit your bonus, but let's just call it 500 instead of 6 tonight. That's where, you did us a favor. We agreed to something we couldn't really agree to. We were just hoping you were going to be a pushover, and so we're going to save you $100. But no, they were like, well, you got 102 with walk up, so 600. And I was like, fine, take all my money. Nobody wants to work anymore. Take my money. Luke Severide is a funny comedian friend of mine. He's about to pass me in Instagram followers any day now. He's a metalhead, and he's been doing a lot of shows with me lately. And he likes metal music. I like rap music, so it can be interesting car ride. But both of our favorite artists love the N-word. Just different contexts, different meanings. This is why Luke is the only one not shocked by the Kanye stuff. You know, like he's used to having his heroes turn out to be racist. Like, oh, that guy shaved his head on purpose. I should have seen it coming. One time I did a gig in Bellingham at an outdoor dog park called not Raise the Woof, but shit. Pause for a beer. PAWS. You can take that. Your little YouTube comment jokes. That's right up your alley. Speaking of indoor plumbing, up the alley. Yeah, I was doing this is a year ago, probably. Pause for a beer. And I don't know if we've told this story. I'm not sure if we've covered this topic, but I'm gonna pee on it again. It was an outdoor dog park, and the dogs were just roaming around. And one of the dogs started humping the stool in the middle of my show. I was like, "Hey, that's my closer." Funny enough, the dog park was right next to a Greyhound station. I don't know where you have both places. You have the Greyhound station. You have a better chance of getting bit, but I don't think they've had their shots. Very slow mode of transportation. A Greyhound bus, not the best name. Also, did a show in Vancouver, British Columbia. Went to the Dope Show. My buddy Tyler Smith runs the Dope Show. I would love to lie and say, man, he does a good job for a stoner, but he is constantly booking 6 people per show, and it drives the pay down, and it's pretty annoying. But he sells out. It's a fun time to see the fella, and you see your friends, and sometimes you need a hang. You got to schedule a hang once in a while so you don't get so depressed. And, free drugs. I get more nervous for the Dope Show because I'm the headliner. I want to deliver a good show. I had one set in December where I tried to read off. I did my podcast, and I was like, this is gold, Jerry. And then I like rewrote it a couple times and then went on stage with like a 6-7 minute chunk. And I was like, hey, I'm just going to read it because I'm stoned. And I just wrote it. And then it got like 2 laughs. And then I just felt bad. I'm like, fuck, I'm the headliner. I'm supposed to close the show. And there's this pressure. And, you're like, I'm getting paid to do drugs. But you want to keep getting paid to do drugs. The Dope Show, by the way, you have to take a smoke break in the middle of it. The hardest part is staying sober all day. Very smart to rebrand it as this wild new thing. The Dope Show, comedians get stoned and tell jokes. Like, no, the show name of comedians do what they normally would do every other night is not quite as catchy. Um, Taro, it's just, I'm trying to think of a joke on the spot. Hang on, it's in there. This is why I hate the live stream, because I'm like, no, there's something, if you like tarot, what love languages, there's got to be a connection there. My if you like tarot, your love language is words of affirmation. I don't get enough. I don't know. I don't get enough of that in my life. I don't get enough words of affirmation. Nobody says like, "You're doing great. That's the spot. You made me come." Like nobody tells me. Nobody gives me feedback. Is that a joke? Sound off. Anyway, the fellas got real excited in Canada because there was a pot shop that had uh I'll read it off the sign. Um Pot shop. Shrooms, coca leaf, LSD, DMT, kratom. Never heard of that. Peyote and San Pedro. And then it says 19 plus, adults only. I don't know if that's picking up in there. It's a real store in Canada. Just go get your LSD. Adults only, 19 plus. Honestly, if they sold 19-year-olds in there, I might check it out. So the other problem is all of our comedy money went towards the fun drugs. I didn't do any because I'm a good boy, but some of the guys were eating like cocaine leaf and getting all jacked up, and that was kind of fun. I passed on it. I didn't. They were like, "You want to smell the bag?" And I was like, "I don't think so. I think that's a bad idea." Tyler was the first guy to get me to smoke marijuana, so I can only imagine what happens if I try other drugs. Addictive personality. It's not going to go well. It did make me inquisitive. The mushroom trip seems like the safest. I've done that before, but I was a pussy and I only took like a small amount and then I barely felt anything. I was like, "Ooh, I feel," and then, you know, but even though the hotel would have cost more than the gig paid, I got a hotel with some leftover points. All about the points, baby. And it's only a 2 or 3 hour drive to Vancouver, to Seattle, which isn't that bad. End of the night, dude. Leave the show at 11, get home at 1. It's fine. But I didn't want to like cross the border stoned. Where are you coming from? I was on the Dope Show. It's a comedy show called The Dope Show. We smoke a bunch of weed, which inhibits our ability to perform comedy, but I'm totally good to drive. Sure, that would go over really well. Uh, you know, the letter of the law, you know, uh, if I get pulled over, that's my fault. But if I show up to the border reeking of drugs, my buddies did it, but I'm a good friend. I told Tyler, I go, "You don't have to pay me until tomorrow because you might need that $75 for bail money." He had to give away his bag of cocaine leaves because he was driving home across the border and he was trying to figure out ways to get it across. Because if you take it out of the bag that says cocaine on it, they just look like leaves. So you could just spread it in your car and be like, "I was on a nature hike, and these are just regular leaves. What are you talking about?" "No, officer, these are just mushrooms. I'm a professional chef, and Vancouver, BC has the best mushrooms. Everybody knows that." "Sir, are you sweating? You're sweating. I can see the cocaine coming out of your pores, and in the kitchen, you look like you would burn cereal. So I'm gonna need you to step out of the car. It's just not worth it." Just you know, just call your guy and get like it's just not worth it. That's what I've been binging this YouTube channel, this true crime. I don't think it's the same. I don't know what true crime the girls are obsessed with true crime podcasts nowadays, but they romanticize it. They tell like a whole story. But what was that? Serial, Be Real. The whole podcast was pop. I never got into that, but this one is like they just show the police interrogation, and that's fascinating because they have a whole they have like a playbook. It's like very fascinating, and I keep thinking like, what would I do in a police? Oh, I would not kill somebody first of all. So, um, you know, but they bring a jealous ex-boyfriend in, and there's some like general and then they go, just tell us a story, and then the guy goes, sure, and they tell him his rights, like he's an idiot though, and so then he's like, anyway, so I just shook her and then left, uh, and then they like show him crying, and then they go, we have video, and then um uh I brought that up because there's that moment where they like admit to everything. Hey, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. They show the guy, they get him to admit to everything basically. And and sometimes they lie. They go, we have video proof, and they actually don't. But they make it seem like they have more. They go, we have a video, and the evidence is very strong. And so they get him to admit everything. He starts crying. They leave, right? And then there's just the dude crying by himself for like an hour. And the guy always like talks to himself. Um he's like talking to his past self, and he's like, well, you could have just walked away. You could have left her alone. Why the fuck did you do that? I can't believe it. Whoa. And I'm like, that's the moment that you want to, you know, you want to bring drugs across the border and be like, marijuana is legal at home. It's good enough. Go, a guy. If you need to know a guy, you can figure it out. But Tyler runs a show called The Dose Show in Oregon, where mushrooms are legal, and it's the marijuana theme, but with mushrooms. And I think I would like to try that someday. But other than that, won't catch me doing drugs. Anyway, build a wall. Canada, that shit's crazy. Just drugs are legal. And I asked Tyler about it, and he goes, oh, I don't think that it's legal. I think that store is just going for it. And I'm like, how does that business plan work out? Canada's very friendly. They go like, the laws are just guidelines. Hey, don't stab anybody, but we get it. You got to do what you got to do. Drugs are meant to tear down walls in your mind, man. Tyler Smith runs the Dope Show. Who smokes weed.me? I'll give him a free plug. He's my free plug. Doobie doo. That is true. I talk about people like you would know them. I've got a tax appointment later today, and go to H&R Block, and I go, here, you figure it out. I used to try to calculate every cent and mile, and now I just kind of guess. I go vibes. My taxes are vibes. The president can lie on his taxes, so can I. If the president can force his intern to suck his dick, so can I. I don't think that sentence made any sense. If the president can launch a nuclear missile, so can I. Harder to get a nuclear missile across the border than the mushrooms. No, officer, I'm just into mushroom clouds. You go into H&R Block, and the people they set you up with are 85 years old. These are the people. It's like, no wonder infrastructure is falling apart. You can just lie to this guy. He doesn't know. I only have 1 hour for my appointment. I'm cheating on my taxes. This guy's cheating death. He's the epitome of everything that is certain in life in 1 hour, death and taxes. But the good news is if I get audited, it's like by the time they start the investigation, this guy's already burning in hell. You know, what are they going to subpoena this guy? Don't forget, don't bogart kids. I was going to say, don't forget, I claim other people's kids on my taxes. I don't know. That guy's probably going to hell because there's no way you're working at H&R Block at 93 years old because you were, nice to your children. They got to put you in a better home. But basically, it's just a program. They just click buttons on a computer now, and I don't know how to like explain. Instead of going like, "Hey, this is a venue rental fee. This is this, and this is this, and this is the gas money." I just go, "This is all advertising. Just put it under that." And anyway, I was going over my taxes this year, and shout out to Stevie baby, Stevie Hofstetter. He paid me over $30,000 last year. That's a big chunk of change to replace. But so far, so good. Facebook paid me $5,000 last year too, which is kind of cool. A number of it's a cool number to see. And so I made about $85,000 last year, close to 100 if you count merchandise. There's like 10 in card sales, and there's like 5 in cash somewhere, probably, which is pretty cool. My business, In Rivers Comedy, generates $100,000 a year. And that is with the efficiency of Bitcoin mining, by the way. I am not keeping 100. 100 is not the number that makes it to me. This year's total number will probably be down, but the efficiency is going way up. So I just need to find a life to make it worth it. I invested all this time into this career, and then I was like, I didn't think I'd make it here. If I shook my crystal ball and said, "You're a failure," and then and here I am. I'm making a living. I'm doing it. I'm gonna record another special this year. So that'll be a good pace if I can record a new comedy special every 2 years, and keep selling a decent number of tickets regionally. That's a good life, I just admitted all my income and all my I'd be surprised if the IRS ever found this podcast. I'm not sure how you found this podcast because I don't post about it. Andrew's crap in the corner, whichever corner it's. Nope, it's gotta be this one. There you go. Andrew's crap on all your iTunes and all your things. But I'm sure just because I admitted a different number. This is comedy, folks. I'm lying about my income, obviously. So I'm gonna be in a jail cell as if I killed my ex-girlfriend. I'll be crying over tax fraud. Like, I didn't have to record it. I had 13 listeners. Oh, why did I admit tax fraud? So anyway, that's the podcast. Those are all the jokes I wrote this week. Hopefully that was entertaining. Gonna go work out. Prevent early death. Maybe climb a mountain. I downloaded some audiobooks. I'm gonna get into audiobooks. And that's the podcast. Sweet dreams, everybody. Remember, if you listen, I don't want to know. Don't slide in my DMs. Don't show up at my house to arrest me for tax evasion. We have an unspoken agreement. Remember? You just, we're just having fun. So tell your friends, get on the YouTube membership thing, $5 a month. You get videos before they come out. I'll tell you before I come out of the closet. You get special access, and I'll give you $5 off merchandise if you want. You can just send me a message, be like, I'm a YouTube subscriber, and I'll look it up and double check, and then you just Venmo me $20 instead of 25. Boom. Maybe I'll throw some mushrooms in the package. The Instagram, I have a store on my Instagram, and they think I'm selling Xanax because the name of the dog is Xanax, on the dog t-shirt. And so they're always like trying to take my store down. I'm like, I am not. It'd be much more than $25. I hope. So subscribe. Go to Facebook. Here's the last. If you're on Facebook, go to my Facebook fan page, Andrew Rivers Comedy, facebook.com/Andrew Rivers Comedy, and share that fucking tarot card joke. It was at like 11,000 shares this morning. Keep going up, okay? Well, I'm going to get on the pee poo poo page, and my career is going to change. Thanks for tuning in. I did read some of the comments. Don't create that. Watching the Orange Man indictment. We talked about that last week. Right time to sleep for me. I put you to sleep. Can't be a failure when you're so hilarious. You would be surprised. You found this. Subscribe to the YouTube. We're gonna do 6 minutes of announcements. How long is this thing? 51 minutes. I try to do it under 45. But I'm a genius. But also, I'm not gonna do every week. I can't keep that up. I will write every week, but we will not record every week. Next week is my birthday, April 12th. Write that down as well. And then I don't know if I'm we'll see. Maybe it's not going to be every Tuesday, it's not going to be every Wednesday, it's going to be once a week when I feel like it. How about that? Thanks for listening. I love you. And be safe out there, folks.